Okay, guys. So, last time we went through the beginning of the route, and we ended off with Fantoon, and I talked about 1 rounds and stuff. So today we're going to talk about Wrecked Ship and Upper Norfair, I think. Again, just in case you missed it, last time, the intent of these tutorial videos is not to go over basic stuff that was covered in my 2019 PRKD videos. These are more of like additions or changes that I've seen or found and implemented since then, either for consistency reasons or speed reasons or both. So I'm going to be skipping over a lot of basic stuff. The assumption is that you know how to mock ball, you know how to wall jump, you know how to do this and that, whatever. And we're just going to talk about more like very specific strats that have come up since then. So anyway, so you want to do a mock ball there, jump over this robot, shoot the door. We can talk about this a little bit. So I do a wall jump off of the right side of that door there. This is not something that I've seen anybody else do, and that's fine. But basically I do a wall jump into an automorph, and then I lay the power bomb right there, and then as it's going off I do a jump morph up into the tunnel, right? What a lot of other people do instead is they'll focus on trying to fix the door a little bit, and then they'll do a wall jump like that, and they'll go up here. That on average, so I checked this with Zost actually when he and I sat down together and went through the route together. On average, I lose time on the door but save it in this room, and he gains time on the door but loses it in the next room. So it's really about the same. So do whatever you're comfortable with. I'm going to stick with this personally because it's super comfy for me and I like it better. And then if you aim down before landing here, you can kind of fix this door like that. See, that was a really short transition, 44. It's something that I didn't realize before. I was like, why do people do this weird big jump instead of this tight, efficient jump when they're grabbing this ledge? Well, it's because you can fix the door if you do it that way. So, Professor School, thank you for the tier 1 34 months. I really appreciate that. Thank you. All right, and then this super missile grab. I don't know who came up with this. I first saw Zos do it, but I think Cutie is the one who first pitched it. I'm not sure. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was somebody before Cutie and I just don't know. But if you do a wall jump check on this missile, on the very bottom, Samus will still be facing left. Like this. Okay? But if you hold shoot and right, she will still shoot to the right, and then you can turn back left and boost off the spark, and it's a little faster like that. It's a little faster than grabbing, turning, shooting, turning, jumping. See, so that was a 322, and I think you can get like a low 3 if you do this right. Maybe a low 3 1x. So I'd be surprised if MGA is doing it in KPDR because of high jump, honestly, but I could be wrong about that. It is a wall jump check on the super pack, yeah. The thing is, Samus just hasn't turned around yet before the fanfare. But if you hold shoot and right, even though she's facing left, she'll shoot to the right. Because on the next frame, she turns and then shoots. So. All right. I don't think I've changed anything in the shaft other than right here. I try to jump on that third shot. So I go 1, 2, and then jump 3. And that's more of just a optimize your movement strat than anything. And I'm not like pro at it or anything by any means. I've seen people get sub 13s in this room, and I've never come close to that. So I usually get like a 13-1x. Oops. 1 power bomb. I have 1 power bomb. Something else to bring up, actually. Samus's hitbox out of a wall jump is really tall. So you'll notice if I break spin with an angle too early, even though it kind of looks like Samus should be clearing this, she's not, right? And that's because we're doing a wall jump off of this wall, and her hitbox is taller out of a wall jump. And it remains taller until you either turn around or release jump. So for ledge grabs out of a wall jump, you want to be careful to release jump before you push an angle to do your ledge grab. And that will allow you to grab the ledge, as opposed to doing the angle first, in which case you're probably going to miss. So keep that in mind. That's applicable many, many places in the run. In every Super Metroid run. Try not to get stuck in the floor there. Gosh dang it, man. Alright. Oh yeah, and right side here. So I used to advise going left side, and I still kind of do if you're having trouble with this quick back and forth right side ledge grabs. This is a little faster to go up the right here. But again, if you're having trouble optimizing that, you can do this instead. I think Oats still does that on the left. It's like a 5 or 10 frame difference, I think. So it's not like humongous. Would 2 wall jumps be faster on the right? You mean instead of doing the back and forth? I believe not, and the reason for that is because you need the running jump into the room from the left. So in KPDR and in Hundo, the reason you want to go up this way is because you intentionally want to bonk this wall as you're entering, because that's how the ballistic strat works. But in PRKD, you need the running jump into the room without bonking the wall, so you have to go from the left anyway. Does that make sense? So even if you can get up faster from the right, like this, you still have to turn around and do the running jump into the room. So but yeah, feel free to test it for sure. All right. Nothing has really changed in Attic other than I do an auto missile cancel. One power bomb. Right here. Do an auto super missile cancel. As I'm jumping over this thing, do an auto super missile cancel. So I jump, I move my left thumb from the D-pad over to select, and then I tap item select twice. And that frees up my fingers for not needing to item select as much, so that I can focus on the rest of the strat and pumping and stuff. Damn it. And that's that. Is there a time to auto-cancel the power bomb to normalize the selection? Yeah, I believe both Zoast and Oats do that. I haven't found a comfortable way to do it, so I don't bother. I just make a mental note of how many power bombs I have and whether it's gonna auto deselect or not, so that I know how many times I need to push item select in Attic. That's how I handle that. If there is a fast time to do that, I'm gonna say for me it would probably involve piano gripping and doing it around the left side supers collection. It's probably where I would do it, and again, I'd probably have to piano grip to do it without losing a bunch of frames. Alright. Nothing has changed there. There is an additional farm strat you can do here that I found. If you select and then shoot your missile in the same frame that Samus turns around, it will have a Doppler on it. And it will kill that pancake. I never ended up doing that in runs because it was too inconsistent, but it's a pretty cool strat. Yeah, usually I just do this. Do not do that in bowling, that's really bad. Yeah, it's a good strat. Like I said, I couldn't get it consistent enough to want to burn a missile in runs like that, but it can be good if you have a lot of missiles but need supers or energy. This right here, so I used to do kind of a big jump into this room on purpose so that I could shoot and then shoot and grab gravity like that and then jump out comfortably. That is actually losing time. You want to do a short kind of a down grab onto this ledge. And the way that you time jumping off this crumble block, if you press jump before Samus lands, I think it's like a 5-frame window or something. It'll actually buffer a jump. and she'll automatically jump when she lands. So you can kind of press jump a little early, and then just try to do kind of a short hop down grab thing onto this little ledge here. Alternatively, if you want to be really sweaty, you can down back like that. Like that. Yes, you can. So the buffer jump thing that I just talked about works on any surface. So not just crumbles. The down back's pretty good. It saves like 15 frames, but it's pretty hard. And again, I'm having a much easier time with it than I did last time I tried, so I don't know, maybe it's not as bad as I thought. You want to do kind of an early jump out of this door to wall jump check, so that you are already on your way down, coming out of the door. You can deboost off the Ripper. Don't bother going for reverse moat CWJ, it's really hard. I tried to save state there, but it didn't work, sorry. One thing actually to note about this, so gravity skip is a thing, right? See if I can do it on purpose. Might not work with this room entry. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's gonna work with this room entry. But what I do to avoid gravity skip is I actually release and then repress the D-pad. And that should mitigate the potential for gravity skip most of the time. So. Alright. Deboost. Mockball. Unmorph. Okay, this room. So I've started doing the bounce ball here again. It's pretty hard to make this optimally faster, but it is optimally faster than the alternative strats. My best time in this room is like a 237 or something. But that's pretty hard to get that time. I average, in runs, I'm averaging like a 245, which isn't great. In practice, it seems like I average like a 242, 243. It's a 240. What a lot of other people do is, like Zost and QD, I think both do this. They do a shot and then a mockball, and then they jump up like this. And that's going to get you about the same low 2-4x time as what you'll probably usually get with a bounce ball if you do it correctly. As far as my cue for the bounce ball, I jump off kind of the edge of the platform, and then I morph right after Samus bonks the ceiling. The thing that sucks is she does like a weird double bounce when she lands on this slope, which makes it kind of awkward to unmorph, because a lot of the time you're going to push jump to unmorph on the same frame that she's bouncing. And yeah, that just... When you do that, she just won't unmorph, and it sucks, so... I do, honestly, I kind of do recommend the shot mockball thing instead, if you can get it consistent. Even though the bounce ball is kind of cooler and a little faster if you do it correctly. Alright, this next room is another room that I changed the strat up, and I changed it up because this is what I believe what Cutie's Splice does. So what you'll see a lot of people do is they go down the left like this. Been a while since I did this, sorry. So they'll go down the left like this, and it's kind of a blind pseudo screw into that crab. It's pretty uncomfortable. And in my experience, it's actually a little slower too. And I'm not sure why that is. Anyway, what I've started doing instead is going on the right and doing a down back. So you go right, down back to the left, and then it's not blind on the crab anymore. Because when you land, at that point, you can see the crab. See, we can see him now. And then you just do a short pseudo screw into him. And at least for me, this consistently saves like 5 to 10 frames over going the left side for whatever reason. I'm not sure why. If you do need to farm the second crab, you want to do a down back there. Oh, I should also mention this. So after pseudo screwing the crab, you still want to be holding shoot, and then you push down. And what will happen is the pseudo screw, the crab will eliminate the pseudo screw, and then when you aim down, a shot will automatically come out and open the door for you. So it is a timed down press. You don't want to do it too early, or you're gonna bonk the crab, which is really bad. You want to push down after pseudo screwing the crab. The shot will come out and open the door, which is much better than landing and jumping and shooting and going like that. Okay. Okay. If you need to farm this crab, you can kill it with 2 missiles, assuming you have 2 missiles. And then from there, you want to run off to the left and then down back to get down through the door. Because if you don't down back, oops, you're gonna bonk right there. You're gonna land first. That's slower, so. It does cost like 30 to 40 frames to farm the second crab, so only do it if you really, really need to. All right. I don't think I've really changed my thought process here. You want to skip the CAC farms if you have 9 or 10 supers for sure. If you have 7 or 8, that's more up to you. It's kind of risky, but it can be worth it, depending on what you get from the Speedbugs farm. Any less than that, you absolutely want to farm these CACs. The fastest way is to do a buffer jump off of the elevator. Okay. But I really struggle with that. I'm not sure why. Yes, it is on me. It is. Running and doing a short jump is much easier. So that's what I've ended up doing still if I'm farming these. And I end up getting better room times because it's so much easier for me. But if you can optimally do a short jump and do your item selections appropriately here, then you're gonna get a better room time. So that was a 1250, and I think the best I ever get with the running short hop off is a mid 12.5x. See, I even missed this super trying to go fast that time. And that time. So as far as I don't think I've changed anything else in this room really. Gosh dang it, man. If you do a moonfall, definitely do the buffer spin jump off. And then do an angled down shot on the door right here to open it just a little earlier so that you can run through just a little earlier. It's a little too aggressive there. Haven't changed anything in here. Though I'll talk about this because I've noticed some newer runners not doing this. A lot of newer runners will stop their D-boost short before the door. So what they'll do is they'll jump later here, like further to the left, and then they'll stop their D-boost before the door. They'll turn around and then they'll run through with a shot, right? Or they'll do it so late, they'll do their D-boost so late that if they don't stop it before the door, they end up going through the door as part of their D-boost, which is just crazy to me. Like, how are you doing that? I think that's how Charles do it. And like that. And that makes this room really hard, right? So what you want to do instead, you want to D-boost as early as you can here. So just jump again, like immediately. Hold forward just a little longer to make sure that you get under this right here, so you don't, get stuck on that ledge, that thing sticking out of the ceiling. And don't stop your D-boost short. And Samus will do the 1 frame turnaround when she lands here. And then you can just hold shoot and run through the door. Like that. And release shoot through the door. And she will release a shot as she runs out of the door and will automatically break this block for you. Hey Oshino, thank you for the raid. Alright, moonfall down. There is a farming strat here. You can lay a bomb. If you're short on power bomb, so if you only have 1 power bomb here, you can lay a bomb just as you land, or just before you land, right here, and then shoot the block. Don't be bad like me. Unmorph and shoot the block. Come on, man. Run back, and the bomb will explode the B-Tom for you. You don't want the bomb to be too low or that will happen. That's kind of what you want it to look like right there. And again, try to make sure that you don't get stuck in the bouncing, canceling, unmorph thing. going too fast now. Anyway, that's kind of what the farming strat looks like there. Alternatively, you can use a missile on it, and that is a little faster if you do it correctly, but it's not that much faster, and it costs a missile. And we actually, in my opinion, we want to conserve our missiles right now for a couple of reasons in Upper Norfair. No changes there as far as I'm aware. Just do an angle up shot as you're passing this beam right here. And then do a deboost off the particle. Don't do a boost off the scree on the ceiling. That's slow and dumb. Do it off the particle. I hold shoot as I'm entering this door. If Samus shoots before the door, like that, then you want to aim up and then release shoot as you enter the room, and she'll automatically shoot up, okay? If Samus does not shoot, like this, then you release shoot before the room loads and hold up, and then shoot, and then go up. So she shot, so I'm holding up and shoot, and then release shoot. She shot, hold up and shoot, release shoot. Okay. She didn't shoot that time, so I'm releasing shoot, holding up, and then pressing shoot to shoot the block. And then I don't remember if I was doing the wall jump morph here in my old tutorial. So you can do a wall jump auto morph off the left side here. 1, 2, 3. You just need to make sure that you're high enough. But that is a little faster than doing like extra wall jumps and then morphing. 1, 2, 3. So that's what I recommend. You can get like a 5-4x with this strat if you're really fast. Oh, and you want to lay the bomb. See, there are these lines in the background between the textured tiles. The bomb should be on this line or closer to the block. And it will break. Okay. That should cover that room and any potential updates since the last time I went over it. Hey Demarant, thank you for the tier 1 24 months. That was weird. I really appreciate that, thank you. Grab Spazer, shoot coming out of the door. You don't have to do a full jump here. You can do kind of a, you don't have to quite bonk the ceiling. That'll save a couple frames. It is a little scary, but it's a thing. Alright, and then select power bombs. Okay. This is a newer strat. I don't even remember who said it on Discord, but somebody was like, yeah, so what I do is I hold down and right, and then I jump, and then I push down, and it only takes one down input, and Samus will morph. And I was like, that sounds hard. And I tried it, and it was hard. And I was like, F that, that's stupid. And then I tried it again like 2 weeks later, and I was like, oh, this is free. So when you're coming through this door transition, hold down and right on the D-pad. You should have already shot coming into the door, okay? So I'm not holding shoot at all here, and Samus is shooting and opening the door automatically, okay? So hold down and right and dash. And then as you're approaching the door, jump release the D-pad, and then push down. Preferably you want to push down and then right, kind of like a mock ball motion. But even just a down press is good enough. And again, that will morph Samus before she reaches the ceiling, which puts her in a perfect spot to lay this power bomb. If you're wondering why that's the perfect spot to lay the power bomb, it's because let's just see if is it in extras? Where's the tile viewer? Sprite features. No. Maybe. Okay. See this white tile? The middle of the screen is where Samus is standing, which is kind of on the left here. It's this corner. This white tile, or the blue tile up above it, I'm not sure which one. I think it's the white one, but I could be wrong. There's a blue tile over here too, so it's probably not the blue one. It's probably the white one. When the power bomb reaches this tile, that's what triggers the glass to break. Okay? Yeah, they added it a while ago. So the sooner... Whoa, why was that so... That was so much more laggy than usual. You know what? I bet the out of bounds thing is still processing. Yeah, it is. Okay. So you want the power bomb to be as close to that tile as possible, so that the explosion will reach the tile as quickly as possible, so that you can continue running through the tube as early as possible and get through the room faster. So laying the power bomb up on top like that can get us a sub 4. That was a 4 flat room. If we do like a mock ball here, we have to wait and then go. And it's like a 430. Okay, so we're saving like half a second with this, which is really rad. It's really freaking cool. And it's really not that hard. Just don't do that. The way that I avoid doing that is by unmorphing immediately after laying the power bomb, and then waiting to run until Samus lands, and just pausing for like a couple frames and then going. Whoa, that was weird. And then I shoot to trigger the glass breaking. And I time my shot as Samus is leaving view. And that's it. Anyway, that's a cool strat. Down we go. It's like this this section might be a little longer than I was planning, and that's fine. That is just fine. If I have more to talk about than I thought I did, then that's great. Okay, I haven't changed anything in this room. There is a strat to open the ice beam door early. It's pretty hard. I'm only going to try it a couple more times. So you have to tap an angle and then release your angle and then shoot straight and then go back into down back mode. Some people do an angle up tap instead. Anyway, yeah, it's really hard. I don't like it. Main reason I don't like it is because it doesn't actually save any time. what it does is it makes it so that you are potentially able to get one extra super drop and have full supers going to Ice Beam as opposed to only having 9 because you had to burn 1 on the door when you're going to Ice Beam, if that makes sense. But it's really, like, it's really difficult. Ruya's really good at it. I think Drewski might do this. And if he does, he's probably a god at it because he's stupidly good at this game. And Oates has started doing this. Like that. Like that. That's how you do it. It's hard. So I don't do that. And I haven't changed anything else in this room. It is cool looking, for sure. A little change in there, actually. So if you get the quick drop here, you're usually not going to get a super drop there. We did, which sucks. Sucks that we're not getting that super drop. If you get the quick drop and the quick morph here, you're better off just skipping this farm on average, because a lot of the time it's either going to give you nothing or a regular missile. So if you need regular missiles, it's kind of worth waiting too. There's a super again. But I usually end up bouncing here anyway, so. Come on, man. What I was going to mention though about this room, so after I land here, as I'm under this part of the terrain here, I push up and left on the D-pad. Okay, and notice I'm pushing up and left, but Samus isn't unmorphing, okay? And then I press jump to unmorph after I clear here, because you don't want to do it too early or you'll get stuck here. See how I'm holding left, but Samus isn't moving because she's stuck. Oops. So hard not to reload all the time. So up and left, and then jump, press jump to unmorph here. And as you're holding up and left, Samus will automatically be doing an angle up, and then you can shoot the door and run and jump through. You can do the same thing by holding angle up. But if you do that and you have my same control scheme, you're gonna have to fat finger these inputs. See, I claw this here so that I can hold dash, and then I shoot the door and hold dash and run and jump into the door. And again, if your index finger is on R there for angle up, then you're not going to be able to shoot the door and hold dash and jump, unless you do some fat fingering strats, which I'm really bad at. So yeah, that's kind of what I do here. You're welcome. Hey, how's it going? No changes here, though. If you do bonk on your way out of the room, like this, at that point you may as well farm this next Nova for sure, because you don't have to really wait at all. You just come into the tunnel, immediately shoot up, and then jump up. But assuming you don't bonk, it's probably not worth the farm, again, because Novas are stingy and a lot of the time they'll give you nothing drops. Yeah. Okay. In my tutorial before, I probably advised going up the left. Something like that. I don't remember exactly. This is technically faster if you do it really, really cleanly. The problem is doing it really cleanly is really freaking hard. And selecting a super here to get through the door really fast is really freaking hard, which is why I believe Oats really likes opening the door early, because then you can just do this. You can open the door with a regular shot on your way up and then run through, and it is really fast and really nice. That being said, just doing the right side strat here is not that much slower, and it's way more comfy. So I have changed that. I do right side strat now, like this. You want to do kind of a big jump into the door to fix it there. So right here, you want to land kind of after a big jump. That'll fix the door for you. And you want cleaner ledge grabs than what I'm doing, and more run speed than what I'm doing. Basically, look at how Zos does this room and try and copy him. Don't try and copy what I'm doing here, because I'm not very good at it. Okay. No changes in here. No changes in here. I'm pretty sure no changes in here. No changes in here. No changes in here. Pretty sure no changes in here. Though I do aim my mock ball for this middle tile right here. That's where I want to start my mock ball. And then I hold shoot here and unmorph just as you pass where the tiles change, and then run through. It's not 100% consistent, but it's pretty good as far as not falling off the slope in the next room. You gotta pause for just a second before you run through the door, and then you can run and hopefully not fall off the slope and go. Okay. No changes in here, really. Maybe be a little more aggressive, or I am being a little more aggressive with when I jump to get up. Oops. No changes in here, really. That's an old command. All right. I'm not talking about what I'm doing next yet. No changes in here, I don't think. I'm pretty sure I already talked about. Oh, you can do a deboost off this last guy. That is a little change. Saves a few frames. Bubble Mountain, my mindset for Bubble Mountain has changed pretty drastically, so we're going to talk about that. In my previous tutorial, we did right side. That is not really the strat, but that's right side, kind of. If you fail, you have Ice Beam, so you can land on the waiver and then go. Okay. But ultimately, the right side strat that you want to do is something like that. You want to do 2 loose wall jumps up and then missile the cack. This is actually a fairly recent strat that Scotty shared. So Scotty W. If I can do it. It was really awkward for me when I was trying to do it. But you want to missile the cack, and then I think you can still get a deboost off the waiver if you do it correctly. But I don't want to waste you guys' time with something that I'm not super good at. But that's the idea. You do 2 kind of loose big wall jumps up. You missile the cack, and then you deboost off the waiver. You still get the super from the cack. Like that. If you do, you can still get the super though. And then you super the door and you run through. Okay. I don't do right side Bubble Mountain at all anymore. It's fast. It's definitely faster, but it's way less consistent for me. And you can't do uppercut in Batcave with it, which I really like uppercut in Batcave. So what I do instead is I do left side. I missile the waiver, and then I missile the cack, assuming he doesn't screw us like that. Super the door, and then boost through the door. That is like the old bread and butter strat, pretty much. That's also roughly what I do in KPDR. As far as boosting through the door goes, you want to be airborne as you go through the door, like this. Reason being is that actually makes the uppercut setup much easier. But it's not the end of the world if you land before the door or whatever. Like, this is fine. You can still go for uppercut. But it is hard. Try this one more time. Yeah, see? There it is. Okay. If you do kind of mess up here, like say you have to wait for the cack because it's like expanding or something, you can just kind of revert, kill the waiver, jump across, shoot a super, auto deselect your missile and run through with angle up. And then what you want to do is after you run through the door, you want to wait for just a second and then angle up and shoot twice and then hold dash. And then you do a little gap skip there and jump up like that. So like, okay, so let's just say that that cack was, expanding a little earlier. And that's it. And that's still a really good strat. Okay. That's probably honestly what most people should do in Batcave is the that missile strat there. I just really like uppercut a lot, so I'm dumb and I always go for uppercut. Make sure that you're not too aggressive with shooting your super when you get to the top of Bubble Mountain, or you're gonna heck that waiver with a super missile, which is bad. Okay. The way the uppercut works, you want to do a gap skip, you have iframes here, so that's what allows you to get past these scree. That it doesn't work with right side bubble mountain because you don't have iframes right here. See, and the setup here is a little harder because we are landing earlier in the room. But basically, you want to do a gap skip across this first gap, and then you want to jump pretty late, like off the right side of this bubble right here, and then immediately aim up and shoot. And that's it. The thing is, since we have Spazer and Ice Beam, it's pretty tight window. Again, it's easiest if we are a little bit higher coming through the door with the deboost so that we land a little bit further to the right here. I don't know why that makes it easier. Just in my experience, it does. But it's still possible, even if you just run into the room. Alright. I don't think anything has changed here. I only super this door if I have 9 or 10, or if I don't have enough missiles. Coming out this way, I'm going to shoot the door and then select missiles and jump through the door. And then what we're going to do is we're going to hold angle down and immediately release angle down after coming into the room and then shoot. Releasing angle down will make Samus kind of slow down in the air like that and put her in position to shoot these guys. You can do an aim down missile on them, but it's not always going to kill every single bug for some reason, and it's really annoying if one of them stays alive. But that is an option. And then I farm here until I have at least 10 missiles and at least 7 supers. I really don't like leaving with 7 supers. I prefer having at least 8 supers, but if I have 7, then whatever. Alright, and then there's a faster exit strategy here that I just learned a few weeks ago. Like that. So we used to do this sort of a thing. You have to wait for the door if you do that. So instead, now we do this. That saves like 10 frames. You can just hold left the entire time on your way down. See that? So I just held left, and you won't bonk that scree on the left, just holding left. So what you do is you hold left and jump. So we're gonna jump, shoot, hold jump, hold left. Shoot after passing the scree. You don't wanna freeze the scree, obviously. We don't wanna do that. So shoot after passing the scree, then turn right. You're still holding jump here. So you just turn right and then press left as the scree hits you, and you'll do a damage boost out of it. And that's that. Okay. No changes here, really. We did not get supers from that last farm. That sucks. If we have really low supers here, then I will missile this door. Also, always grab wave missiles every time, forever. Never drop them. It's not worth it. Unless your name is Zost, Behemoth, Oats, or Cutie. I said it. If you want to be super sweaty, you can. You can drop them. It'll save you a few seconds, assuming everything goes your way. But the reason I like grabbing these is because, first of all, if you have to jump over them, you're actually losing some time having to fall down onto the spikes. You're losing some time and taking extra damage having to fall down onto the spikes, okay? So there's that. Additionally, these extra missiles come in handy in more than one place. So they help against Ridley. You can save like, it's like a second. It's like half a second. You can save like half a second against Ridley with them. They help against Dragon if your opener isn't super good. They help in Turian in the sense that you don't need to stress as much about getting enough supers. I mean, there's still times where you're going to get screwed, right? But 29 is possible and 15-9 isn't, right? So that's a thing. And assuming you get good drops from the Metroids, the missiles will save you time on Mother Brain as well. So if I had to guess, I would say optimally skipping these saves somewhere between 3 and 4 seconds. Some people are going to argue it's more like 4 and 5. That's fine. I'm not going to take the time to like really dive in and do these little like teeny crazy optimized comparisons. Like, I'm just not going to do that. I really recommend grabbing these. World record is possible grabbing these. It's harder, but it's still possible. Zost has had a 40 grabbing these, which is part of the reason I don't care about going for a 40, because I'm not the first person to get a 40 with 2010, even if I do it. So yeah, grab the wave missiles. Okay. Grab wave beam. No changes in this room, really. Deboost off this guy. Push up against this ledge here as you are moving through the room. Shoot just before you land so that Samus will open the door. If you shoot too high, and it won't open the door, that's stupid. Alright, and then in this room, as you exit the door, hold and release angle. Do not aim down, and don't pump at all, and you'll run through this guy. It's not 100% consistent, but it's pretty consistent. So you can just run right through this guy instead of bonking, which is nice. Deboost off the spikes. That guy's more RNG. You can still clip through him sometimes, but just pumping is good for the second part. Hey Forever, how's it going? Alright. Weave down through here. Make a hit on the rocks. Alright, here's another spot where wave missiles helps. So what I used to do, depending on how many power bombs you have here, the farming strat's going to change. If you only have one power bomb, you need to farm this first guy. Okay? See how we have 5 now? You can technically get away with 4. So, again, let's just pretend that we only have one power bomb and we don't farm that guy. Now we only have 3, okay? You want at least 4 going into Lower Norfair. Since we have 2, we can skip the farm on this guy. And again, since I have wave missiles, I'm not worried about just missiling all 3 of these guys. And that's a little faster than the alternative strat, which is to do a down back. Like that. So that's a 617. That was a pretty clean room. You can get like a 660X with that strat if you are like really, really good at it. But if you just missile all 3 of these guys, that's a 615, okay? And that wasn't super clean. And since we have 2 power bombs, we don't even need to jump all the way back up because we only need 4 power bombs, right? So we can just do this. Wait, what? Oh, no. Sorry. We do need to jump all the way back up with only 2. But if we have 3 power bombs, we could just farm the bottom 2, go down, go, and save even more time, right? So. And then, I don't think I've changed this about Lava Spark since my previous tutorial, but just in case I have, I'm just going to talk about it. So when I do Lava Spark, if you look at my inputs, what I did there is you get the charge, you hold angle down, you jump into the flame, you do a deboost. And then what I do is I hold back on the D-pad and I hold angle up the entire time while holding jump the entire time until I'm ready to spark up, and then I just release left on the D-pad. And Samus will automatically immediately spark up without losing any frames. If you do an up instead, it can also be instant, but you're not going to be moving forward at all like you will with the angle spark, so you might bonk like that, like I did just now. Whereas the angle spark can save you from doing that. See, so we totally would have bonked there if I'd done an up spark. So that's why I prefer the angle spark, is it can save you. And holding the angle spark also prevents you from having to do that wind-up animation if you were to release left and then push up, for example, which saves some frames. So. Last thing I'll mention is you do want to aim for the corner for charging your spark, charging your shine spark. That was way too early. But it's okay if you do it early, as long as you don't get stuck for too long. And you also have to be a little bit more aggressive if you go early. So like make sure that you jump ASAP, make sure that you boost ASAP, make sure that you release your spark ASAP, like that kind of a thing. The other thing to be careful about, and you probably saw me do this a few attempts ago, don't turn too early or you're gonna KO through the flame, and that's really, really bad. So be careful about timing your deboost. Do you mind showing the shine spark timer here? Sure, I can do that. Shine spark. Okay. I don't know how much slower the chronic boost is into gravity jump. It's probably, I don't know, 3 to 5 seconds if I were to guess. So yeah, and that wraps up today's updates. Pause before you go down the elevator. Deselect your beams because we're going to be doing X factors. And we'll talk about Lower Norfair next time. Cool. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. I'm going to do other stuff on stream now, and I'm going to end this video. See you next time.